India, a country that would seem very chaotic to an outsider, and yet it manages to function as a fairly successful democracy. It's a country of 1.3 billion people. Unity in diversity is the strength of India, and multiculturalism is its essence. But it faces a fair share of challenges. As India enters its 72nd year of independence, we look at some of the good, the bad, and the ugly that makes India. India has over 100 languages, umpteen cuisines, and is home to all major religions in the world. And yet, it manages to be a functional democracy.
Not only is it a functioning democracy, it's a successful democracy, it's a vibrant democracy. And if you know the kind of melting pot that we are, the hugest contradictions, it's a miracle that we managed to keep it together.
India is also one of the world's fastest growing major economies. The IMF compares it to an elephant starting to run. It accounts for about 15% of global growth.
It has understood the benefits of being in the global mainstream as far as economics is concerned.
Bollywood, food and cricket. The country's culture has been a dominant force globally, and its cultural influence is predicted to grow stronger in the years to come.
India is the only country in the world that has been able to withstand the marketing might of Hollywood.
There is this aspirational factor that helps a common person who is from a developing country being able to relate more to, say, a Bollywood as compared to Hollywood.
India's judiciary is one of the pillars of its democracy, but civil justice and order and security can be pretty poor.
The judicial process, where cases can prolong for 20-30 years, sometimes 50 years before the judgment comes when the warring parties may not be alive.
India prides itself in giving its citizens freedom of expression, but many fear that free speech is under threat. Attacks on journalists, censoring unfavorable news, abusive synchronized trolling, all threaten India's free press.
Journalists are losing their jobs or they are being suppressed within their organizations. Even tiny things like what you tweet is being controlled by bosses.
Instead of reportage, what you have now is armchair vigilantism, which I feel is extremely worrying and not in keeping with the spirit of a free and fair press.
Some analysts say India has failed its citizens when it comes to healthcare and education. In 2017, over 400 children died at a hospital in the state of Uttar Pradesh due to oxygen shortages. India ranks poorly in healthcare access.
The question of health and education continues to be a critical one. We understand that it's also something that really has a direct impact on those also in the middle classes.
India has a bad reputation for caste and religious discrimination. Dalits, who are the lowest in the caste system, are killed for reasons like owning a horse. Muslims have been lynched simply for allegedly possessing beef.
Is the fact that there is consolidation of sorts on religious identity, and that kind of leaves many groups outside of the so-called mainstream.
Caste remains the big blot on our so-called democracy, and until we destroy caste, we have no right to truly call ourselves a democracy.
There's also the rape crisis. In 2016, India recorded 106 rapes a day, and 4 out of every 10 victims were minors.
It's still a poor and developing country, and a lot of this mindset that we talk about, the feudal mindset, the patriarchal mindset, is directly related to that.
I resent the fact that my freedoms are restricted because I'm worried about sexual violence. But on the other hand, I feel immensely proud of the people of my country that in 2012, after the Delhi gang rape, people came out on the streets and there were nationwide protests against sexual violence in India.
There's long been terrible poverty in India, but in recent years, there's been a dramatic increase in income inequality. Just in 2017, the top 1% of the population owned 73% of the extra wealth created.
Questions continue to stay on things like crony capitalism, where a certain groups are able to manage like larger chunks of economic growth and business opportunities.
India is a massive country facing major challenges. But will it meet its true potential?
There will be challenges though, but then it really comes down to the people and their ability to stay together.
So right now, I think we can be very gung-ho on the India growth story.